Good evening and welcome to an all new episode of WTFriday, the After Dark series by Mystery, Murder, and Mayhem. But you already know that. So this week, the South Carolina versus Alex Murdaugh murder trial got underway. So I've been keeping close cat tabs on that for y'all. Um, I did bring y'all an update. I believe it was Thursday morning because not much has happened this week so far because it was mostly jury deliberations and or not jury deliberations, but jury picking the jury. Gosh, I can't even already talking. This is at the beginning of the episode, so y'all are probably in for a headache. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is come back in the morning with an update on everything that's happened so far this week. But tonight, I'm bringing you the story of a young woman who went missing in the late 1980s and was never seen or heard from again. Now, yeah, that sounds like a lot of the other stories I've brought you, but this one has a few twists in it. So you're going to want to hang out with me and give it a listen.
Welcome to What the Friday, an After Dark series by Mystery, Murder, and Mayhem. Listener discretion is advised.
The young woman that I'm talking about is Tara Calico. She was born on February 28, 1969, and she was only 19 years old at the time of her disappearance. And one of the things that Tara enjoyed doing was riding her bike. She did it on a daily basis. And on the morning of September 27th, 1988, she left out for a bike ride. Now, her mom, Patty, she used to ride with her, but she had recently stopped riding with her because she felt that she was being stalked because on several recent rides, a car had driven dangerously close to her and continued to pass back and forth by them. So she insisted, that since Tara was going to be alone, that she take some mace with her on her rides, but Tara refused. Tara told her mom, though, that when she left that morning, that if she hadn't gotten back to the house by noon to come pick her up because she had a 12:30 date to play tennis with her boyfriend, Jack Cole. Well, noon rolls around and Tara hasn't gotten back home. So her mom goes to look for her. Now, Tara always took the same route along Highway 47 there in Belen, New Mexico. So you wouldn't think it would be too hard to find her. But y'all, she was nowhere to be found. And Patty called the local hospital thinking maybe Tara had had an accident on her ride. But she wasn't at the hospital either. And after that, she rounded up some friends and they went out and looked for Tara, but they were unable to locate her. So at that point, Patty called the police. Well, as the local authorities searched for Tara, they found what appeared to have been a track made by a bicycle tire that had veered off the road, along with several footprints. And when they followed those tracks, they found pieces of Tara's Sony Walkman and a cassette that was scattered along that little path or route that the prints had taken. Now, Tara's mom thought that was Tara's way of leaving a trail for somebody to find her. But sadly, y'all, it didn't lead to her. And a few witnesses, they did say that they had seen Tara riding that morning, and one even recalled seeing a 1953 pickup truck following Tara closely, even riding on the shoulder behind her. And another witness remembered seeing that truck as well and was able to add that there were several people in the truck. Well, 19 miles away from where Tara had went missing, the rest of her Walkman was found at the John F. Kennedy campground. Now, this campground is a very remote, unpopulated area, and it's at the base of the Manzon Mountains. Well, as the authorities began to piece together that little evidence that they had, it was looking less and less like an accident and more like an abduction. Adding to Patty's grief and worry over the whereabouts of her daughter was one particular police officer from the Belen Police Department. Sometimes he would call with gruesome theories that he had had about what had happened to her daughter. And one of those theories included that Tara had been used as a sacrifice in a satanic ritual. This same officer also told news reporters that Tara was nothing more than a runaway. Well, soon after that, that officer was terminated from his job. Now, shocking to me is the fact that there's like this very easily distinguishable truck that has been seen by several witnesses in the area. It's not just every day that you see a 1953 pickup truck riding around, and even stranger is that it just seemed to just disappear because it was never seen again. There were 3 men that police did bring in for questioning in the case. They had been seen drinking beer on the tailgate of a truck in the area of the campground, but they were eventually ruled out as suspects. Land and air searches continued for Tara until September 27th, but there wasn't anything turning up from those searches. The investigation did continue, but eventually the case went cold. Then the following year, on June 15th, a disturbing Polaroid photo showed up in the parking lot of a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida, and that's 1,500 miles from where Tara had disappeared. The photo showed an unidentified boy and girl bound with black tape covering their mouths in the back of a van. The woman who found the photo said that when she had went into the store, a white Toyota van had been parked in that spot and was being driven by a man with a mustache, and he appeared to be in his 30s. Well, due to the disturbing nature of the photo, the woman called the police, who then turned the photo over to the FBI. The FBI decided to have local media air the photo. Relatives of Patty's saw the photo and called Patty, telling her that the young woman in the photo looked a lot like Tara. Patty caught a flight to Florida so that she could look at the photo in person, and she decided that the person in the photo was indeed Tara. And the fact that there was a couple of things that made her come to that conclusion, not with just the girl resembling Tara, but there was one thing was that the person in the photo, she had a scar on her leg that matched one that Tara had on her leg. And then there was a book. In the foreground of the picture was a paperback copy of the V.C. Andrews novel, My Sweet Audrina. V.C. Andrews was Tara's favorite author, and that particular book was also her favorite. Patty was convinced that the woman in the photo was an older Tara with no makeup. The FBI wasn't as sure about that as Patty was, though. Experts at the Los Alamos National Laboratory took a look at the photo, and in their opinion, the woman in the photo was not Tara. But Scotland Yard in the UK had the opposite opinion. They were 100% sure that the woman in the photo was indeed Tara Calico. And even though there were disagreements about whether it was her or not, they all did agree that the photo had been taken recently because the film that was used in the Polaroid hadn't been available before May of that year. Adding to the confusion was the little boy in the photo. He closely resembled a 9-year-old named Michael Henley, who had also went missing in New Mexico in April of 1988. Had the same person abducted both Tara and Michael? Well, up to that point, all they knew about Michael's disappearance was that he had went missing while he was on a camping trip with his dad. Sadly, only the Henley family would receive any answers, though. In 1990, Michael's body was actually found in the Zuni Mountains of New Mexico, only 7 miles from the campsite. Apparently, he had wandered away and exposure to the elements had caused his death. and once again, Tara's case went cold. More photos of women that resembled Tara surfaced not long after that first one. The first one was found near a construction site near Montecito, California. The picture was blurry, but you could see a young woman's face with tape covering her mouth and a blue striped fabric in the background. The film that photo was taken on wasn't available until June of 1989. And the second photo showed a woman loosely bound with gauze and thicker gauze covering her eyes behind large black framed sunglasses. A male was in the photo beside her, and the picture had been taken on an Amtrak train. The film used for that photo was not available until February 1990. Tara's mom, Patty, felt that the first photo that was found at that construction site might be Tara, but she was pretty sure that the one on the train was not, and it could have been just a joke. Well, to this day, the case remains cold. In 1998, a judge declared Tara dead, with homicide being the cause of death. Then 10 years later, Sheriff Rene Rivera from the Valencia County Sheriff's Department announced that he had received information that two teenagers had accidentally hit Tara with their pickup truck. They panicked over it and then killed her. And according to the sheriff, the boys actually knew Tara. And he went on to say that hitting her with their truck was an accident, and after she died, they covered up what they had done. However, Rivera stated that because he didn't have a body, he couldn't make a case. And this caused some outrage from Tara's family, and her stepfather, John Dole, said that the sheriff should not have made those comments if he wasn't willing to arrest anyone. And he went on to say that circumstantial evidence should have been enough for a conviction. Listen, I'm not going to tell you about a product unless it's something I love and I use it on a daily basis. And what I'm about to tell you about is one of those. Over the years, I've packed on quite a few pounds from having babies, stress, eating for comfort, and now as a 51-year-old woman, hormones are not on my side at all. Now, I had been seeing people on social media talking about Obvi. They were talking about how much weight they've lost and how they feel so much better. They had nothing but good things to say about it. Of course, I was skeptical, but you know what? I gave in and I gave it a try. And boy, am I glad that I did. Over the past 5 weeks since I started using it, I've lost 22 pounds. I haven't tried every single product that they have, but I have to say my favorite is the Collagenic Burn. 2 capsules at breakfast, another 2 at lunch, and I have energy for the entire day. And it's not that jittery energy and there's no crash when it's done doing its magic. And you experience that with a lot of products out there. Plus, my hair and nails are growing like crazy and my achy joints feel better each day. Your results may not be exactly the same as mine, but I encourage you to give it a try. Now, all you have to do is click the link in the episode description for my Avi, and then you can save 15% by using the promo code MYSTERYM. In 2008, Tara's mom and stepfather moved from New Mexico to Florida. And it was a move they had wanted to make for quite some time, but they were afraid that there would be a big break in the case. So that kept them from moving for a while. Well, after they moved, Patty said that in New Mexico, everything that she did reminded her of Tara. And I know they'll never forget or ever stop looking for her, but I believe the move to Florida was probably a good move for the family. In 2013, a 6-person task force was formed to continue in the investigation of Tara's disappearance. And though the trail has gone cold, it remains an active investigation. Also in 2013, a man named Henry Brown confessed to police from his deathbed that he knew who was responsible for Tara's kidnapping. Brown claims that he was in the basement at the home of a man named Lawrence Romero Jr. when he spotted what he believed to be a young woman's body wrapped in a blue tarp and buried in a makeshift grave. Romero, Dave Silva, and Leroy Chavez supposedly told Brown that they had accidentally hit Tara with a truck. And after that, they took Tara to a gravel pit, took advantage of her, and then stabbed her to death. Well, get this. Romero is the son of the sheriff of Valencia County, and it's been said that the sheriff destroyed a letter that contained the confession from Romero. Well, in 1991, Romero committed suicide. And is this why the sheriff decided he couldn't bring charges? Because one of the suspects was his son, and two, that suspect is dead. Well, Brown told the detectives that he believed that those men later disposed of Tara's body by dumping it in a pond. Now, who knows if that deathbed confession was actually true? And I don't know this Brown guy and don't know why he would concoct such a story. I mean, there's a lot of questions out there that I have about this case. And like I said earlier, this case is still unsolved. It'll be 35 years this September since Tara has been heard from. Her mom, Patty, passed away in Port Charlotte, Florida on May the 11th, 2006 from complications from several strokes, not ever knowing what had happened to her daughter. Well, guys, that's all I have for tonight. Come back in the morning. I'm going to have an update on the Murdoch murder trial. And then on Monday, come back for an all-new mystery, murder, and mayhem. Y'all have a good night.